Today I'm going to be making 3 different desserts, all of which are Paleo and Autoimmune Protocol or AIP Diet friendly. These desserts are so good, and not only are they super easy to make, they're also quick as well. And I'm so excited to share them with you because I don't really feel that they scream special diet and really can be enjoyed by anyone. I hope you like them just as much as I do. And as usual, the written recipes will be on my blog at thrivingonpaleo.com, and I will put the links to the recipes below in the description box as well.
First up, we're going to make these super delicious, rich chocolate orange truffles. The 4 ingredients you'll need are soft dates, 1 orange, you'll need both the zest and juice, coconut oil or whatever oil or fat you tolerate, carob powder or cocoa powder if you've reintroduced it or are just on paleo. We're going to begin by removing the pits from 10 soft dates. If your dates aren't soft, you'll want to soak them for about 10 minutes in warm water first, then drain it. I'm then going to add them to a food processor, along with the zest of the whole orange, 2 tablespoons of the orange juice, which is about half of the orange, 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, and 3 tablespoons of carob powder. And then you process it until it becomes a smooth paste, stopping if necessary to scrape down the sides.
A side note for anyone who does not have a food processor, you do not need a food processor for this recipe. If you don't have one, just take the soft dates and mash them with the back of a fork, and then add them to a mixing bowl and mix with the rest of the ingredients.
Once you have the mixture, you'll add 2 tablespoons of carob powder to a small shallow bowl or plate. Scoop out a small walnut-sized amount of the date mixture and roll it into a ball with your hands. Then you'll roll it in the loose carob powder, shaking off any excess. A tip here is if your mixture is sticky, wet your hands slightly and then the ball won't stick to your hands. Or alternatively, you can put it in the fridge for about 20 minutes. This recipe makes about 8 truffles, depending on the size you make them. These truffles are great to have on hand when you need a sweet treat and store really well in the fridge or freezer. And I like to keep them in the freezer and take one out as needed. Next up are the ginger-baked pears. The 5 ingredients you'll need for this are pears, honey, some ground ginger, some cinnamon, and melted coconut oil or avocado oil. If you can tolerate ghee or butter, that works well here too. First, you'll want to preheat your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 220 degrees Celsius, or gas mark 7. Cut 2 pears in half and remove the seeds. Then place on a baking sheet or dish with the cut sides up. Brush the tops with melted oil, and then place in the oven for 15 minutes. Remove from the oven and then drizzle with a 1/4 cup of honey, and then sprinkle each pear with a pinch of ground ginger and cinnamon. Bake for another 10 minutes, and then let cool slightly before serving. This recipe serves 4 people and is one of those great ones to serve to someone who isn't on a restrictive diet because it's naturally AIP and paleo, but doesn't scream that it is special diet. And for an extra special option, you can add some coconut whipped cream or coconut milk ice cream. Or if you're serving it for non-AIP guests, feel free to give them regular vanilla ice cream. It's also elegant, but pretty hands-off, so you can enjoy the time with your guests. This is best served immediately after baking, but if you do have leftovers, store them in the fridge for up to 3 days. And then finally, we have AIP pumpkin pudding, which you can also make into a delicious parfait. The ingredients you'll need for this one are an avocado, maple syrup, pumpkin puree, which is not pumpkin pie filling with the spices already included, but just plain pumpkin, ground ginger, mace, which is an AIP compliant nutmeg substitution, but if you're on paleo, you may use nutmeg, cinnamon, and some coconut or tiger nut milk. And again, if you're on paleo, you can use your preferred nut milk or dairy-free milk instead. You'll begin by pitting and removing the flesh from one avocado and then adding it to a large mixing bowl. Then you'll add 1 cup of canned pumpkin, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, a 1/4 teaspoon of mace, 1 1/4 teaspoons of cinnamon, and a 1/4 cup of coconut milk. Mix everything together using an immersion blender, hand mixer, and if you have neither of these, then you can use a fork to mash the avocado and then a spoon to mix the whole entire thing together. This is ready to serve and eat as is, or you could add a little coconut whipped cream on top. If you do want to make these into a delicious parfait though, as an extra special treat, a crumble topping is in order. For this, you'll need some cassava or coconut flour, coconut or avocado oil, maple syrup, cinnamon, and some sea salt. To make this, you'll preheat the oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit or 177 degrees Celsius or gas mark 4. To a small bowl, you'll add a 1/2 cup of the cassava or coconut flour, a 1/4 cup of the coconut or avocado oil, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, a pinch of cinnamon, and a pinch of sea salt. You'll mix these together and then spread them out on a baking sheet or in a dish. You bake for about 12 to 15 minutes or until golden brown, and then you'll let it cool. To make the parfaits, layer some crumbs on the bottom of the serving glass or dish, then add a little coconut whipped cream and a dollop of the pumpkin pudding, and continue alternating until the glass is full. This recipe makes 2 parfaits, but if you need more, feel free to double or triple it as needed. It is best if the pudding is stored separately from the crumble if you aren't serving it right away, but the pudding can be stored in the fridge for up to 3 days. These also make great snacks or desserts for the kids in your life. I know mine go crazy when I make these for them.
I hope you enjoy these recipes and that you give them a try. If you do, please tag me on Instagram because I love to see your creations and I love seeing you enjoy my recipes. And again, if you want the written recipes for these, they will be on my blog at thrivingonpaleo.com, and I'll put the links in the description box below. And that's it for today. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this, and I'll see you in the next video.